Hey garden friends, and welcome back to my channel, Our Country-ish Acre. It is the most beautiful day outside. For it being the last day of February, we have just some really nice weather. It's mid-50s, sunny, and not very windy, so just an overall nice, enjoyable day to be outside in the garden, just kind of finishing up some tasks, like assessing where I want some new garden beds or that sort of thing. Just always dreaming about what I want to do. But I'm actually going to be heading out to the garden in just a couple minutes to plant out the ranunculus and anemones that I pre-sprouted. As a reminder, I pre-sprouted these. I did a first succession. I started in mid-January, and then I did one at the beginning of February, and then I did one last succession at the middle of February. So they've all kind of spent a day or two outside. They did spend last night outside because it wasn't too cold. And they, as a reminder, they are cool season flowers, so they do like to have cooler temperatures. So, 30-degree night temperatures is not gonna bother them at all. But they are semi-hardened off now, so I'm going to boot them out to the garden, and I just kind of wanted to, if you were curious to see what I'm doing in this process, just kind of take you along. So let's get to it. I'm just going to start by raking up this mound of soil that I had piled up here from the fall that I just didn't get to doing before it got really cold. So I'm just going to kind of make the bed even, nice and smooth. I don't know if you could hear the chickens in the background, but they are just chatty today. We did give them some outside time earlier today, and they're really wishing they could free range again, but not right now. Okay, so that looks pretty good. The next thing I'm going to work on is just kind of grouping all of my ranunculus varieties together. So I did 3 successions, so I have a little bit of each variety in each succession, so they're just at different stages. So I'm going to plant them out according to the variety, even though there's going to be multiple ones in different stages. But what I'm going to do is plant the ones that were taller and we're in the first succession on this, more on this side of the bed, because the sun shines this way, so I don't want the taller ones to shade out the little guys that are not as big. So that way, if I plant taller this way, medium here, and then the smallest ones this way, they'll all get a nice amount of sun. So that's what I'm going to work on next. So I have everything kind of arranged very haphazardly, but all I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to plant out the ones I started more recently towards this side of the bed, and then I'm going to plant the next ones that I started after that behind them, and then kind of so on and so forth. So that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do about 6-inch spacing. I'm not going to be super precise, like get a tape measure out and do it. I'm going to just kind of eyeball it, and that's going to be good. And then in each hole that I am planting a plant in, I'm going to add just a little sprinkle of bone meal to it. So that's a really good thing to add to any of your like bulbs or flowering plants. Just gives them a little extra boost of nutrients. So I'm going to do that for each hole, and then we'll be good there. my ranunculus and anemones planted out. I actually had to put my anemones over in that bed because I misjudged how many of these would actually do well, and I didn't have a lot of crop loss at all. So, we're just gonna take up some space in that bed too. But I'm really excited to have these in the ground. I think next year, if I do grow these again, I won't start them quite as early. The ones that I started in mid-January, they ended up looking just a little bit leggy. I think it got a little bit too warm in my basement. I mean, it's still cold. It was like 50 degrees, but I think they just got a little bit leggy with that warmer temperature. And I think if I grow them, start them a little bit later so they're closer to this size, that will be much better. But here we are right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is I have these little wire low tunnels, and I'm just going to stick them in there. And then at night, if it's 30-degree or probably like 35 or below, I'm going to cover them with some frost cloth. If it gets down to be under 30, I'm probably going to do 2 layers of frost cloth, and then during the day I'll remove it and let them soak up some sunshine. If it's raining that day, they'll get some rain. If they're looking a little bit dry, I'll have to water them, but that's kind of the next steps there. So hopefully in about a month or so, I'll be able to share some pictures of the flowers and some videos, and we'll be able to do some harvests. But really excited with where we're at now. So until next time, friends.